So I'm just going to talk a little bit about mornings. I'm going to talk about how I try to process a day when I'm basically driving to work. I'm going to try to talk about some lessons essentially that I've learned in the little while since I've made a video before. So the main thing is going to be, basically this is going to be a spiritual video essentially. Something about peace, spirituality, something about how important it is to create stability in your life so that you can actually have time for peace through working. So here we go. If you guys ever have trouble with turning those thoughts off, if you guys ever have trouble with turning those thoughts off over the course of the day, over the course of your week, over the course of the month, and actually just appreciating life, you're going to be in Schitt's Creek for a while until you figure that out. There's a couple strategies that I've figured out in order to find that peace in a busy life. So I'm just gonna go over those this morning with you. One of those is you got to have your goals kind of hammered out to instruct any sort of discipline in your day-to-day schedule. The use of a Google Calendar, really powerful, or any sort of calendar, powerful and necessary. Essentially, if you want to make more than a couple $100,000 a year and you want to have a life where you can go and travel and like own stuff and build stuff for society, you're going to need to have that level of structure and actually adhere to it to the point where everything kind of makes sense, right? So the reason that I say the goal is the most important thing, I was watching this PVD video and he was talking about, well, the first thing that you need to decide when you're coming up with the things that you want to do or who you are, or I guess the initial point of impact that's required to live a disciplined life, a useful life for other people, a life of service, is determining how selfish you want to be, right? What does that mean? Really, it means if you set a goal that's for the long term and you genuinely believe in it, there's going to be things that need to be sacrificed along the way, and there's going to be discipline and systems that you're going to have to against for yourself to keep yourself accountable along the way in order to reach that goal. Now, why does a goal have anything to do with peace in life? And by the way, I'm just going to turn this around and show you this beautiful field that just got harvested for October. Happy Halloween month, guys. This is a drive I get to do every morning. I wish I got to look sideways while I was driving so I could actually see it. It's my environment. So the reason peace and setting a goal are correlated is because I think a lot of the unrest that comes from us stems from a lack of knowing what we're doing with our time and our energy. A lack of having a why behind our act, a larger why. I think it makes a tremendous, and I think honestly and genuinely that without having that larger why, we're never really gonna feel all that satisfied and be able to rest our minds for a second and just appreciate what's going on around us. So first step, definitely, what is your long-term goal? What is your goal with your life? You know, what is that thing that you could just do all the time and it would fit into everything that you do, and you would be satisfied going to sleep at night having accomplished that every day. That's the thing to find, okay? Hard to do. You can go back to some of my other videos for figuring that stuff out, but basically you got to analyze yourself all of the time until you figure out that thing that lights you up and the thing that connects all of the initiatives and all of the things that you've been working on for a long time, okay? If you need help, just comment down below, whatever part of the process you've gotten. Now, peace, there's a couple of different peace that I think are relevant to basically everyone. One of them is probably the most approachable one, is the physical aspect of it. If you have smoked or are a smoker ever in your life, you know that breathing is a major part of why smoking is addicting to begin with. There is something about the breathing that we do that can change your perception of the world, right? The slower you breathe, the more conscious you are of your own body, your physical, the easier it is to be conscious of everything else. It's like a tuning your perception. There you go. It's like tuning your perception. Breathing is like tuning your perception. What that means is that when you breathe slowly and when you concentrate, you're tuning yourself in to being intentional in life. You're tuning yourself into watching the little things in life. So that's what breathing can do for peace, and why it's actually a necessary part of finding peace consistently, you know, in a day, in a week, in a month. Breathing. The why and the larger awareness, right? Because it's not enough to just pay attention to the little details and assume that you're you're going to find peace. And to some people, that might actually end up triggering their OCD or whatever they call it. And, you know, they start analyzing the little tiny details and little things. The spiritual aspect of things, I think, is one not of analysis, but of wonder, hope, specifically wonder. And the reason I say that is if you look at something that you've seen day in, day out, an object, a word, an interaction, a human being, you will find that simply changing your lens on what that object or what that thing represents or what that thing is capable of or object is capable of, simply by allowing another possibility into your mind of the use of that thing or the context of that thing will give that thing interest in your mind. Spoken another way, you will necessarily find more wonder in life by allowing yourself to be curious about things, about anything, especially the things that you're used to. And that wonder, curiosity, comes from essentially humility, right? And saying that we don't know everything, but we want to know things, right? We don't feel everything. We don't understand everything. But if something is willing to be understood, that we are the ones that will try to deduce, try to understand. If something is possible of being understood, that we are the ones that will lend the compassion to allow that thing to be manifested in our brain, right? There's peace and spirituality go hand in hand. Peace and discipline go hand in hand. They're two necessary parts of being able to slow down in your life. And as I'm driving literally to work, you know, these are the things that I get to think about for being a leader in my workplace, or before going into something that I do 6 days a week. You know, some people are working 7 days a week on the same job. Some people are, you know, working 14, 15 hours days and don't have lives and stuff like that. And you know, there's an infinite range of people that you can be in life. The things that I talk about in these videos is me saying that I think there are some strategies that every human being can utilize to be more at peace and enjoy their life more. There's plenty of sacrifices that come with it, but spiritual aspect and the discipline aspect, the breathing, the physical aspect, these are things that one should look into in order to understand ourselves better. So I hope this finds you guys well. I hope that this video gave you something to think about. That's really all I can ask for these days. And hopefully you can teach me something about your spiritual practices, about how you find peace in life. I'm curious, like what is a strategy that you've used that consistently worked? And the other thing that I want to know is, in the context of your goals, like where does peace play into actually achieving your goals? You know, for those of you that have watched these videos and know the goal setting stuff and have actually gone through it and are building things in your life, I want to know who you guys are, and I want to figure out how to exchange notes, because that's what makes me curious and increases my humility. But thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting the channel. Please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon if you want to look for more of these videos, want more of this stuff in your feed, and let me know what other stuff I can make videos about that might be interesting to you guys. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Peace.